We start tonight with Canada. It has blamed India for the death of a terrorist, and it has expelled an Indian diplomat. India has responded in kind, and the relationship has hit rock bottom. Now both sides are trading charges. It's as dramatic as it is dangerous. Because the Khalistani issue is rearing its ugly head, and Canada's Prime Minister is giving it more oxygen. He's conflating terrorism with freedom of expression, and that never ends well. Let's recap the events of the last 24 hours for you. It began with Justin Trudeau's statement. He spoke in the Canadian Parliament and he made a very serious accusation. He said India was behind the murder of a Khalistani in Canada.
Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
Trudeau said he'd spoken to Prime Minister Modi, which he had during his disastrous G20 visit. They had a brief bilateral where the Canadian leader was pulled up. India is said to have raised the Khalistan issue. In response, Trudeau is said to have brought up this case. He made the same allegations. The Indian side rejected them. Trudeau went home, and the first thing he did was blame India for the killing. Then they expelled an Indian diplomat.
Since this was brought to our attention, we've been guided by three principles. The first one, we will seek the truth. The second one, we will protect Canadians at all times. And thirdly, we will protect Canada's sovereignty. I've conveyed these principles to my Indian counterpart, and I've also told him that we expect India's full collaboration to make sure that we get to the bottom of this.
New Delhi was quick to respond. It asked a senior Canadian diplomat to leave. The Ministry of External Affairs also summoned the Canadian High Commissioner. India lodged a strong protest. It termed Trudeau's allegations as absurd. The Canadian High Commissioner was seen leaving South Block in a huff.
Call the External Affairs Minister. Sir, you meet the... Sir.
Meanwhile, the Trudeau government has launched a diplomatic offensive. They're reaching out to other Western powers. They've mobilized their foreign minister for this. Her name is Melanie Joly. She says that she has raised the issue with key Canadian allies. In fact, Justin Trudeau personally spoke to two leaders, US President Joe Biden and UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Also, the G7 foreign ministers are meeting in New York today. This is on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, and Canada plans to bring this up there as well.
Right now, we know we are in an international security crisis. And one of the fundamental rules behind the world's stability and security is the protection of each country's sovereignty. And we see this possible breach of sovereignty as completely unacceptable.
An international security crisis. It's the death of a terrorist, an international security crisis. Canada is yet to provide evidence for the claims they're making, and they're picking up a fight over this man, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. He was killed on the 18th of June this year, shot outside a Gurudwara. This happened in Canada's Surrey, a city in British Columbia. Nijjar was a prominent Khalistani figure there. He led a separatist organization called the Khalistan Tiger Force, or KTF. India calls the KTF a terrorist organization. This was notified in February this year. Nijjar himself was designated a terrorist by the government of India in the year 2020. In fact, here is how India's Ministry of Home Affairs describes this group, the KTF. The group, and I'm quoting, is a militant outfit and it aims to revive terrorism in Punjab and challenges the territorial integrity, unity, and national security and sovereignty of India, and promotes various acts of terrorism, including targeted killings in Punjab. The Khalistan campaign is a serious threat. The movement has gained momentum in Canada. And what is the Khalistan movement? It's a separatist, violent campaign that calls for a separate state for Sikhs. They wanted to be carved out of the Indian state of Punjab. Nijjar's KTF was deeply engaged in this Khalistan campaign. He was actively involved in the group's activities, operations, networking, training, financing, all of it. He had connections with prominent Khalistanis. Reports say he visited Pakistan in 2013 and 2014. What for? For a meeting with a man called Jagdar Singh Tara. He too is a Khalistani terrorist, Jagtar Singh Tara. In 1995, he assassinated Beyant Singh, the Chief Minister of Punjab. He was Chief Minister from 1992 to 1995, killed by a Khalistani. Nijjar was close to another Khalistani terrorist, Gajinder Singh. He is the leader of a group called Dal Khalsa. They were involved in a hijacking, the Indian Airlines Flight 423. Hijacked in 1981, the plane had taken off from New Delhi. The hijackers took it to Pakistan's Lahore. Gajinder Singh is currently in Pakistan, the man behind this hijacking. Listen to what he said about Nijjar's death, and I'm quoting, "Hardeep Singh Nijjar was a dedicated Khalistani until the end. He was like a son to me. He met me a few years ago and solidified the bond of love and thoughts. He was a true Khalistani at heart." So you get the idea about the man we are talking about, a terrorist who led a separatist organization, had ties with prominent terrorists, and was actively campaigning to break up India. Canada calls his death an international security crisis, and it's going to battle with the world's largest democracy over it.